talk. This is Sing Talk Radio.
Good.
Welcome everybody to a Saturday morning, unless you're in Europe and then it's a Saturday evening, and if you're in Hawaii, it's early. But I'm really happy to welcome a couple people today. Co-host for today, Bryce.
Woo!
Yes.
Yeah, Bryce.
Yes.
Bryce is a friend of mine who is the bass player and singer in Lifehouse, and he's just joining me to co-host today. And welcome our awesome guest today, Rachel Lampa.
Hello.
Yes.
Here I am.
Here you are in the flesh. 19 years later.
Yes, 19 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, did we meet?
No.
When
I
did we
met
meet
you
though?
probably in 2005.
Okay, so
2004
just
maybe.
15 years ago.
Yeah, 15 years ago. Yeah.
Still pretty
Long
long
time. But, we have this sort of like ships passing in the night,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden we collide, and then, hey, there you are.
Yes, I know. Basically I try to think I can sing without you.
You can. The thing of it is
and then
I've
I
tried
fall
that
freaking
too.
out.
well, all right, let's move on.
Oh no.
The things that matter. So, today, you two, and the reason I wanted Bryce to co-host this with me today is you both, I know Lifehouse is considered more of a secular band, but it is, Christian-driven, Christian angle.
Yeah.
To a certain degree.
To a certain degree, our singer Jason was raised Christian, and when he was writing songs in the late 90s when the band first got signed, it was him getting a record deal, and he was singing at a church and at Malibu Vineyards, I believe. And
Where's that, here?
It's in Malibu.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And so in our first record, there was a lot of spiritual, interpretive lyrics, and a lot of our songs, I think, to this day are kind of in that interpretive sort of bracket.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't specifically been on a Christian label. We've been on major labels. Started with DreamWorks, and we moved to Geffen and to Interscope. And through that time, we've had a Christian following. That's been a
Big part of your...
big part of our career, and we tip our hat to that world, and we're a type of band that everyone that comes in and enjoys our music, we love every part of that.
Totally.
But a lot of our songs are in that spiritual realm, but
Right.
a lot of them are about life, love songs,
Drugs.
stuff like that. Drugs, sex, alcohol, just straight to the good stuff,
I don't know why anybody's laughing.
You're like,
Not
right.
right.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Great, awesome.
Well, so it's great to have you here, and sort of, I want you to field some questions with me, because your
course.
perspective with, Rachel and her world is going to be a little different than mine, so anyway, so happy.
You're the translator.
Yeah, what does that mean?
The middleman.
Exactly.
All right, let's do it.
So Rachel, where shall we start?
Oh man.
So when I first started teaching voice, I started teaching in maybe 87.
Okay.
So here, 13 years later, I'm teaching, and I'm part of a large network of teachers. And then Bless comes out, and every single teacher made their student learn that song.
Gosh.
Just because it was such a challenging song.
That's
I mean,
so
it was
loud.
one of those songs where, I don't know, can you sing that song? Oh, okay, you're a real singer. But it was interesting, and then meeting you that's always interesting to me anyway, is to have somebody in my world that influenced me, and then to meet him, and then, it's to me is a fantastic, like, oh, that's how that works.
Yeah.
And,
wow.
but that song, not just the song, the album had 4 number ones or 5 number ones?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then, no,
No, I think so.
that was
Ask
on the
Wikipedia.
CCM chart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So for you listeners out there, so this is a little thing that goes on in the music world that you guys may or may not know about. CCM
Yes.
is what all other voice teachers and all other pedagogy call contemporary commercial music. And it's everything except for classical and maybe theater.
Oh. I've
and then
never heard that.
I didn't know that
CCM
either.
to me is contemporary Christian music. And so
Yeah.
every time
I
I go
always
to
thought
these
that too.
symposiums and they're saying CCM,
Oh, wow.
I'm like,
Somebody messed up.
somebody's totally got this wrong. But anyway, but you had 4 or 5 number ones on the CCM chart. But that sort of, Blessed might have been one of the biggest Christian songs probably ever,
Oh
right?
gosh, I don't know. I was like in 8th grade. I'm grateful for it, but I really, that stuff not that it didn't matter to me, but I just wasn't really sure what it all really actually meant. You know, I grew up in Boulder, Colorado. None of my friends listened to my music, and I was
Just because they weren't into Christian
music. Yeah, it just wasn't. It wasn't the Bible Belt. It wasn't the South. Not that that's the only place that Christian music gets listened to, but in the area that I grew up in, you know, it wasn't this popular thing. So it was kind of like just this, like, healthy hobby sort of feel when I would go home, and then when I'd go out on the road, which was often. I kind of noticed, people know these songs, and it's getting out there somehow. But I was really well protected, just from the hypey stuff. It was more
Through your family?
Yeah, I think my family. My older brother was my tour manager from the time. Yep. From the time he graduated high school, basically, and then my parents were with me often, and my managers even. Everybody just. I had a good group of people around me to preserve my littleness.
Do you still have the same people involved with your group?
No, so not really, just mostly because I kind of X'd out music for a few years and just kind of am starting fresh again. So
Nice.
Yeah.
So let's inject here real quickly.
Yeah.
Rachel just released a song yesterday.
Yeah,
First song in a few years.
In 9 years,
9
10 years
years,
almost.
so
Yeah.
Congrats.
We'll make sure we
Thank
put
you.
the link on here too as
Yeah.
we go along. But
Cool.
let's go
But yeah,
back to
yeah.
it's like you started singing super young,
Yes.
right? You were harmonizing by 4, all sorts of amazing things. Where did that come from? From going to church?
Probably a little bit of boredom because I remember when I learned how to harmonize, I would sit in my room and get 2 cassettes and then sing something and then switch them and then harmonize onto that and then switch and
Really?
switch and switch. I
Wow.
have to find those freaking
Absolutely.
Back in the
Let's
day.
release them.
It would be so cool. I just would be like, what? So that my mom was just this cool rock singer girl in college.
Really?
She just sang all through her life too. Yeah.
Interesting.
So lots of music. My dad's Filipino, and he would just pick up a guitar. He was good at everything. But
Musically.
guitar, yes.
I know it
And
sounds
singing-
racist, but
yeah.
Filipinos.
Yeah, bring it. You can be.
I mean-
you can be that kind.
That's not a bad racist comment,
No.
though. That's a good racist comment.
Yes,
Is it?
it
I don't
is.
know. These days, I
It
don't know
is.
what to say.
Maybe it's a generalization.
Okay,
but
there we go.
You're
It's a
aware.
generalization.
There are a lot of really amazing Filipino singers.
Well, look at Journey. I mean, they found a guy to sound just like Steve
Yeah.
Perry.
And,
know.
and he nails it.
And he nails it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he started at a young age singing karaoke and
Exactly.
just getting that down.
You know,
That's-
Manny Pacquiao sings.
Yes.
Actually,
Yes.
he's like a god there. And
Yes.
He is,
people
yeah.
buy his albums.
Yeah.
And,
He does everything.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in the Philippines, we were walking down a street, and 2 or 3 times on this same street, it might have been one street over, we hear music coming from, it's just in the middle of the day, noon, and we hear music coming out of a window, and we see 2 dudes just sitting there. In America, it would be 2 dudes playing video games. They're singing karaoke, just sitting on the couch singing karaoke together, and that happened 3 times.
I'm telling you, it's so...
There's something.
Before you walk, you get a karaoke machine.
I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I love it.
Do you think that's where some of this comes
Yeah.
from?
So yeah, I think that.
Did
lot
you
of
get a
it-
karaoke
internet-
machine at 2 or 1?
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I have videos of me singing to my teeny little karaoke machine. So yeah, that, and then of course church. Yes, it was not I didn't grow up singing in church. Honestly, I started singing in church probably when I was maybe 12, and I actually grew up in a Catholic church. But this is how crazy it was. I really loved this church. I loved the people there. They would ask me to sing at communion because that was kind of the only time you could really sing.
Oh, yeah, you didn't do praise and worship. You were in a
No.
Catholic church.
I was in Catholic
Yeah,
church, but I
that's
also not
completely
only
different.
that, I sang Hero, Mariah Carey.
In church?
Greatest Love of All. Yes, because I didn't know Christian music. I sang every song from The Preacher's Wife.
Nice.
At Catholic Church Communion.
Yeah.
They were a cool church.
Wow.
I know.
That's pretty cool.
Where was this?
So funny. In Colorado, in Boulder.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not like, I did grow up singing in church, but I mostly brought my karaoke tapes to church mostly and did it that way. So, yeah.
So,
a little backwards.
So, because I know Brent Bourgeois.
Mm-hmm, yes.
So anybody, goes back. Brent had a band called Bourgeois Tag in the 80s, and they had a #1 song. Mm-hmm. And so I knew Brent that way. And then when I met him and found out he was the one that actually launched you, right? Mm-hmm. He discovered you and sort of did the whole thing.
Yeah, he was like the main player and
you
all
were
of that early
16?
stuff. I was 14 when he signed me.
Wow.
He was in Colorado. He came to Colorado and heard me sing, and then just kind of just kind of scooped me up, and we just kind of wrote out the first two albums.
Did he was he a part of the development with you? Because back then they had development deals and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Because
how long were you in
development? Well, I didn't have a development deal. Honestly, 6 months.
Really? That's it?
So he came to Colorado, saw me sing, and we just they flew us to Nashville and just started recording and writing right away. But I definitely was not a writer. I didn't have much of I wasn't like this like these days 14-year-olds, they are like, that's an artist right there. Mm-hmm. I was like,
yeah.
I can't see me, some of you, but
Billie
I was
Eilish and people like
not cool.
Wow.
I just wanted to sing. I just wanted to get behind a microphone and sing. So
that's the difference between a singer and an artist, right? And you sort of evolved into being an artist.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it was really, really thoughtful the way that they did it. They, on my first album, because I wasn't a writer yet and because I was 14, they rented out this house for I think it felt like 2-3 weeks.
Where did you guys track?
In Nashville. Yeah,
really?
Just Franklin area.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they got this little house. Me and my mom stayed in it.
And that was when he was running Word, right?
He was A&R
for Word,
yeah,
right?
For Word. So he was my A&R
not running
guy.
Word. Yeah.
And he was producing my album along with Brown Bannister. And they invited writers over for the next 2 weeks, and I would just go take walks with the writers and have meals with the writers, and they just write about what we talked about and kind of what they felt like I would say or whatever. And
is that where Bless came from?
Yeah.
Really?
Cindy Morgan and Ginny Owens wrote that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was it the same writing team for the whole time, or did you have different people?
Basically, yeah. I think pretty much everybody that came in and out of that house wrote the album.
Sweet.
Yeah. It felt special. It was the closest thing to being able to write my own songs. And then the second album, I wrote half of the songs or whatever. So and then the third, I wrote all.
So vocally, let's go back to what happens when you go from, you're 16, you're tracking, you've got an album out. By the time you're 17, Blessed is out?
No, Blessed came out when I was 15.
Wow.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
And so by the time you're 15, you're touring.
Yeah.
Full time.
Yeah. Yeah, I the first day of high school, I flew home.
Did you even go to high school?
I kind of.
How could you?
Homeschool?
No, it was. My town was awesome. They let me sing Mariah Carey at church, and I got to dip in and out of school. I sort of kind of did they called it independent study with my teachers, and just kind of made it just work basically. I dipped in and out a lot. Yeah, but by my senior year I was pretty much gone all the time. I tried to kind of give it a shot my freshman year and kind of be around, but
after that it was
I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the road.
Did you really?
I actually told Word that I wouldn't tour until I was out of high school. And they're like, yeah,
we'll see about that. There's no way we're releasing a song that goes #1 and you're not touring.
Yeah.
You're getting out there.
Well, and they put me on tour with my best friend, Stacy Orico.
Mm-hmm. Did you know Stacy before?
We met because of our agents.
Your careers were kind of parallel, right? She was about the same age, right?
Yeah.
What was the name of that song? I just remember the video of her on a bus.
She has a lot of them. That was Stuck, probably.
Stuck.
Yes.
Stuck was huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But she wasn't touring as a Christian artist. She toured as a secular, wasn't
She started as a Christian artist.
Did she?
And
sort of
then
the Katy Perry thing?
Mm-hmm. Just kind of, started to put out pop songs and got to go that direction. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, Yeah, what was I saying?
Well, about the touring. So, I want to know, as from the voice side of things, what was it like to go from singing in a studio at church to all of a sudden have to sing every night? I mean, vocally, were you just like, I don't know, I'm 16 and it's just happening and it's awesome?
Yeah, I wish it was more as resilient now as it was then, for sure. I mean, no, I was going, because like I said, I was going back and forth. I really love football and I really loved high school football, and I would go to all the football games and scream my head off.
Oh, yeah.
And then the next day fly back out.
And you were fine, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was fine. I thought I was.
Perks of being young.
I also think that's an exception to the rule.
Well,
because I work with a lot of teenage girls that are in that, and it's not if they damage, it's when.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
happens.
and eventually it absolutely caught up with me. Like, I have young girls ask me all the time, advice, obviously, and just tips and all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, pay attention. Like if you need to, if you can find one place to be regimented and disciplined, just take care of it, because you'll just be so bummed later in life if you don't take care of your voice.
Did you find it hard to find a regiment on the road?
Yeah, I mean, because I kept saying, oh, I'm singing every night, I'm fine because I'm just singing every night, I'm just keeping my voice warm, which is true, keeping it strong. But I was not warming up or warming down or cooling down. Yeah.
Have diet restrictions ever affected you, like caffeine, alcohol, or anything like that with singing?
Probably, yes.
Yeah, probably, but it's not like full on.
Your Honor, Exhibit A.
Yeah. She's having both. Let's
Hello, everyone. Here we are.
Do you want to have a moment of confession here?
A little mimosa.
Yeah.
A little mimosa.
It's a Saturday morning. I'm on vacation.
Party on, Wayne.
I know.
This is my one.
And just for everybody out there listening, it's the only way I could get her in here is to promise her coffee and mimosas on a Saturday morning.
So, I know, I feel really rock and roll right now.
Pretty awesome. I would be joining you, but I didn't have to work
This
later.
is cool.
Yeah, I'm with Bryce.
Yes. So, but yes, I mean, I think eventually all those things, I think I just, when I was that young, I just was not thinking about any of that. And I was, it was me, my older brother, and my 4 guys in my band, and we were just on the road, just eating, everything.
I can't imagine how much fun that would have been.
It was so fun.
I mean, at that age, just to be on the bus with your brother and some good friends, and every night just performing and people love you.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be a little technical here for
Yes. Adjust.
Do it.
I mean, for me, I wanted to live that life. At that age, that's all I wanted. And I just had no idea how to go from this little farm boy to being able to have something like that happen, which is, I mean, I'm happy now. But at the time, I was super, that was my drive. And, and it's weird. I mean, you were living the life. I mean. Yeah.
I mean, and of course, I'm talking about all the great and fun things, but of course there was a lot of sacrifice that I don't think I realized there was until later. Well, I mean, obviously I was staying home a lot, and going to my high school stuff was really important to me. And so I would fly home for prom, I'd fly home for special days, even for special football games. I want to be at that
Homecoming.
football game. Yes. Yeah, I was trying hard to do that. And
how did that affect your social life at school, though? I mean, here you are. I mean, maybe they don't even know how big your music is, or because they're not connected to that style of music.
Yeah.
Or
not really. Yeah. Honestly, I think my close friends were fans because they were fans of me as a person.
As a fan,
But it wasn't. It wasn't on their radio station. It was also the year 2000. The year 2000. So, it's that's the only way they're really hearing it, unless they go buy my CD, which they did, of course, because they're sweet friends. But I mean, that was one of the big things that suffered was my friendships. I just didn't really, I just couldn't figure out how to relate as much, and just time. I wasn't around for all the fun little things, little memories and stuff. And so my close friends became my band, Stacy, and other artists that were out in Nashville, which were really, I mean, I'm staying at Stacy's house right now. She was in my wedding, I was in her wedding. We're
awesome.
Very, very close now, but we were, it ended up just being kind of music friends, that turned out to be
lifelong
lifers
totally.
for sure. But as far as like the high school experience, like there's definitely some spots where I mean it's almost a little blacked out.
Is it really just kind of mushed together?
Yes, it's almost
Everything's
like
happening so fast.
yeah, exactly.
Blending together.
Yes. I was this video. I'm about to put a video out like today, but we had to go through some old footage because we wanted to put that in there, and I was just like, I have no idea what that is. Like, no idea when that was or what I was feeling, how I even got there.
Think about that, though. I mean, that's a lot of stuff happening in 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could separate it.
Yeah.
It's just too much.
It was a lot. Yes. Yeah. And there was just, like, when I was 18, my parents were getting divorced. There was some stuff going on with siblings. Yeah, I'm just like, wait a minute. You're just, when you're that age, it's so hard to exist in two places. Like now I can kind of figure out like, okay, I have home, I have road, I have all these things and I can keep them together. But yeah, when you're young, you're just like, wait, what? Oops. Like,
Well, you also don't know what all's going on around you. There's no possible way to understand all the moving parts. Mm-hmm. So having said that, I mean, I get a lot of students who come through that want to be in Christian music because they feel like it's safer than the secular market.
Yeah.
And the truth is, it's music is business is music business. It just happens to be Christian music. It doesn't mean the business is any different, right?
Totally. Yeah.
And there's pitfalls.
Yeah.
You
can't. I've just learned in life just not to generalize anything, not to make a sweeping statement.
You mean
about
like
anything.
all Filipinos can sing?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Jerk. Actually, I'll take that one because I love my Filipinos.
Yeah, totally.
But it's not that it's this dirty industry, but there are people in it.
Mm-hmm.
And people
are messy.
Yes, people are messy.
Yeah.
And there's people in the mainstream world and they're messy.
Absolutely.
And they're also not messy. There's also some really beautiful, amazing, generous, selfless, music loving and like art loving people.
The kindest people I know in the world are in the music business.
Yeah.
And we had this discussion on one of the other podcasts the other day that, people are always like, there's sharks and you got to watch out. Yeah, but there's sharks. If you're a banker,
yes,
you're surrounded by sharks.
Yes.
If you're a real estate agent, you're surrounded by sharks.
I found that like the more successful that people are, that or people that are involved in it and they're invested in it, they're the ones that kind of have that free flowing, like loving attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But it's the struggling people that kind of have a chip on their shoulder and are a little bitter and jaded, that kind of thing. So you can surround yourself with
it's
healthy
the middle.
pockets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The young ones are humble. It's middle, and when they get past that, they also get grounded, and they start to realize what's important. Family is important. Friends are important.
Totally.
The business is just a business.
Yeah.
It's not where your self-esteem comes from. It's not where your
identity.
Yeah, it's just you got to manage your brand. You got to do all that stuff, but they're just more grounded, and they're surrounded by their entourage is much more grounded.
Yeah.
It's the ones that are sort of in the middle. They've had a little success. They've been on cycle once and maybe twice.
They've seen enough, to know what they like really want.
But I think this business also makes you insecure after being on cycle because holy crap, how am I going to get back on cycle? It was a fluke, right? It's like
it's scary.
Was it real? Am I talented?
Yeah.
Or was it just a fluke?
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Well, example, 3 days ago I'm in a vocal lesson with you and I'll just bust myself. I totally got emotional because I was just like you go through all these things, especially putting out this new single and making this new music and stuff. I'm just like, was I ever good? And I know, I know I'm okay. I know I'm good.
Please tell me that's not me.
I'm okay.
Oh God.
Yes, no, I do. But everybody has that moment with something that they love enough and something that really matters. You're just like, is this good? Is this am I a fraud? Am I a fake? And I think, my husband just got his. He's a therapist now. He just got licensed to be a therapist. Yes. Wow. So he's constantly fixing me. But he.
I don't think you need fixing.
I know. It's awesome. It's awesome and horrible. at the same time. But
Is he analyzing?
oh yeah, constantly.
All I wanted was some breakfast.
He's
I
like,
mean,
tell me how you feel about breakfast. I want to slap you.
Yeah.
But we've been talking about, just in my kind of emotional stuff with getting ready to put this out, just that feeling. People have that feeling a lot, the fraud feeling of just like, okay, like, because it's art, and because it's like this, it's vulnerability, it's art, it's like emotional, and it's like, for me it's like beliefs and all that kind of stuff. It's like, who am I to be able to like just put it out there?
Why do you get the bully pulpit? Why do you get the bullhorn, right? Why do you get a chance to be up there with someone else?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you feel that and you're like.
So what's the answer?
I think, I could give a lot of cheesy ones,
Well,
but
if they're cheesy or not, are they honest?
They're true. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like I have a story and I have something to say, and I can and I have a passion and a gift that I can use to say it, and I think that the best thing we can do, like with our stories and the things that we feel like we want to say, is connect to each other with it. So if I'm not the best singer, and if I'm not the best writer, and if I'm not the best business person, then, but I can at least connect with whoever wants to connect, and we can
being
be
the best you is all that matters.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that's hard for artists to see at times, is you don't have to be the best singer, you don't have to be the best songwriter, you don't have to be the best performer. You have to be the best you, because that's why people connect.
Yep.
And not having too much fear ingrained in it too. Like I'm writing these songs, and I'm trying to write for the trash too, instead of like every song is going to be the best one, and this one's got to be the best one. It's like, instead of putting so much emphasis on one thing. The other thing is, like, the industry's changed so much since you and I started. Like, things were a lot different. We did radio tours, we had major labels, there were A&R guys and people that were just developing us, and there's much more money on that side of the industry. Right now it's kind of like the Wild West when it comes to social media and the industry, and so there's a little bit of fear involved too. Like, we put out a record in 2015, that was our last one, and there was some anxiety around, like, how are we going to do this? It's like a new ball game. So
totally. And now, honestly, like, you're catching me 24 hours off of putting out my first song by myself, and I feel so good, because I'm like, it's like I ripped the Band-Aid off, sort of, because I'm like, I know what I have to say is important, and I know that it's that other people feel this way, and I know that I am good. I can do this. Like, I know this is something that I'm good at. And so after putting it out, I was just like, okay, this isn't scary anymore. Yeah. And you're right, it's like the fear thing. Away. Yeah, it's like, it's amazing how much of it is actually just that. Yeah. When really, but like, I kept thinking, I think that's really important to say, because I think the fear thing was making me think I was a fraud. It was making me think that I can't sing anymore. It making me think that, that I didn't auto-tune things well enough, like all that kind of stuff.
Do you think your listeners even care?
Probably not, because we're just connecting. We're just all just connecting to each other.
They want to hear 100%. Something new.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, nowadays people release singles frequently instead of before, where you put so much emphasis on tour on one song, and it's just like one song.
A year or 2 or 3 into it,
But just putting that out is such a nice feeling.
Do you guys remember, though, the first voices that you heard that turned you on to music went, that's what I want to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who?
Well, to me, as a bass player, it was Chris Novoselic and his bass lines with Nirvana and the whole 90s grunge scene. Just that I feel like that instrument chose me. But when it came to vocals, like the harmonies of the Beach Boys when I was young, and their old stuff, like the round, round, get around, I get around, like, just, it was something that just called to me. So those were old records for me, at least. Beatles, Beach Boys.
I love that so much. Aretha, Mariah, Whitney, and then Eric Clapton and Stevie Wonder were really big too.
So do you guys ever remember thinking, gosh, I don't think they hit that note right? Never, ever. No, neither do your listeners.
They were godlike to me, like listening to those
But you guys don't understand that the same thing for those that listen to you. And
That's good.
And not to take away from you, but especially you, because you did something that has been semi-duplicated since you, but that Blessed really was a bomb. Not in a bad way, like an explosion.
The bomb.
The bomb.
It was an explosion.
No, you bombed that. Sorry.
It was an explosion that crossed out of CCM. It just did. Frankly, I didn't listen to CCM, and I was fully aware of it. So.
Oh, cool. I love that.
And so people listening to that are they don't listen to whether you are perfect or not.
Yeah.
They're listening to the words. They're listening to you. They're listening to your interviews. And that what matters is that these young people get touched because, and you have no idea how many people you've touched.
There's an acoustic version of that song that's really good that you did a while back too.
Cool, thanks.
On YouTube.
Yeah, whoa.
It's 2012-ish.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's a great song.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I am so blessed to have gotten that song from Cindy and Ginny, because that was, I remember I took a walk with them. I was 14, very soft-spoken, and I just remember saying those words, and I remember saying, like, I just feel blessed, because just for the simple things, and, this whole thing, and they wrote this song that I was like, oh my gosh, I feel really connected to that. So even now, like, 19 years later, I'm not tired of that song. It really is a special song for me, and I love hearing other people sing it. It's been a really, really cool thing to be part of that song.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So, life's changed.
Yes.
I mean, here we are 19 years later.
Yeah.
You're not 14 or 15 or 16 or in high school and all that. You're married, you've got a son, and you're living in Nashville, and priorities are different. Life is different.
Yeah.
You can see things from a different perspective. How's that affecting your voice? And how's it affecting your writing?
Yeah, I've loved it. I mean, I like life a lot more now.
Do you?
I think a lot of people maybe would say that, like, especially in, I don't know, 30s.
But that wasn't something you just skidded into. That's something that
I had some
probably comes with years of struggle.
Totally. Yeah. Or years
and I don't
of
want to speak for you, but...
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I stepped away. I left my label when I was 21. I had put out my third record and just felt like that record was really personal. It was about my parents' divorce and all this, stuff. But it was kind of also the album that, like, didn't get received well in Christian music, because it didn't feel quite so
positive.
Yeah, positive, totally, and down that lane. And that really bummed me out, because I was like, this was one of my favorite records. I worked with my dream producer, Tommy Sims, and just wanted, I wanted the whole world to hear it, and I was just really bummed. And I just felt like this isn't the music that I do anymore. This isn't where I belong anymore, label-wise, and just, I just needed, I honestly, now looking back, it was just pure exhaustion, and just not being able to, like, say, hey, I need, like, a year or two to just, like, breathe and, recalibrate, basically. So I, instead...
And that was
2005 or 6 or 7?
That's about the time I met you.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it was kind of at that point I was like, I'm going to start doing things that I,
want to,
like,
come teach for me.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I came and taught with you at, was it a camp or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Summer program.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. I sang, I, like, just wanted to, like, step out of the expectations and the due dates and the deadlines and the decisions and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of do some fun things. I just wanted to have fun again. Mm-hmm. It was fun, but it got not fun. Mm-hmm. So I sang background for Jordan Sparks for a little while, and we toured with the Jonas Brothers and Britney Spears, and these really fun, exciting tours. And
Jordan's just easy and sweet.
So sweet. Yeah. Gosh, I love her.
And her whole team back then, when Stephanie was manager, and the whole thing, it was a great team.
So sweet. Yeah. Yes, I loved all them. and I did like the sing off, which we called you on.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of
I
friends.
forgot you were on that actually.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That was a group of friends. That was a group of friends out of
from
Nashville.
Nashville. Yeah,
right?
none of us
Just
had ever
threw
sung.
it all together.
Yes, none of us had ever sung a cappella in our lives, and we.
That's the year Pentatonics won, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they won. Yeah, literally the first day
That
I
makes
sat.
sense.
Yes, I sat next to, like, I think I sat next to Kirsty and I don't remember, Mitch maybe or something, and they gave us sheet music, and I was like, nope, I don't, nope, like
to read?
Yeah, I was like, I didn't. I
Did
skipped
either
that
of
part.
them read?
Oh yeah, they were amazing. They walked me through the entire season of this, and
Well, Mitch, Scott, and Kirsty all grew up in choir together
yes,
in
they are
Texas.
masters.
Yeah.
And so from that moment, we were like, they're winning.
Yeah, sight singing, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's,
Oh my gosh. That was just something. I didn't do that in high school. I didn't know when I could have done that or learned that.
Well, you were on the road being
Yeah.
a rock star.
Through the rocks.
Well, it's true. I mean, instead of being in choir, you were literally touring
Yeah.
during that time.
Yeah, I was touring. Yeah. So.
And they're about your age, right?
They're younger than us.
Are
Me.
they really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think of you as like 29.
I'll
so.
take it.
Yeah.
I will take it.
Um,
But yeah. So
how was
I
that
did
experience for
that.
you, though, by the way?
Oh, it was so.
I mean,
it
you
was
guys were sequestered and... like,
Yes, yeah. But that was fun I mean, I was with my friends and it was really fun singing and like just being around. Actually, it was probably the closest thing to like high school and college that I could have gotten because it was a lot of like college kids and stuff, like a cappella groups and like just like kind of living that way, like all living in a hotel together and just I was like, "Oh, this is
Ordering
what,
pizza at
yeah,
midnight.
this is what it's like." And it was and
there.
also like when I was in high school, when I would spend time there were the kids that were in like theater and choir. Like I always swore that they had it. They knew something we didn't know. Like they were always having a lot more fun than everyone else. And but I never did it. I never did choir or theater or anything in high school. I was kind of a jock actually. I know. I'm huge, but I played basketball.
Did you really?
Yes, I know.
Yeah?
5'1". I played basketball, and I played till I physically couldn't be there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of hung out in that crowd, which I still love sports so much. But I always was like, oh, I want to hang out with those choir kids, you know. And so I finally got to do that on the sing off, which was really fun. And then I went.
And who were the judges that year? Ben.
Sarah.
It was
Bareilles.
Sarah. Okay, yes, and Sean.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because they swapped out the female judge
Oh,
2
yeah?
or 3 times.
Okay.
Well, Nicole Scherzinger was the year before, and then Sarah, and then I don't remember who was after Sarah.
I don't either.
I mean, Ben Folds was the brother.
We might have been.
you know,
Was I
that.
the last season? I might have been the last season.
No,
Oh.
because Home Free won the year after that. I think there was 3 seasons, and Home Free won the year after that.
Okay.
They're a country a cappella. They're doing really well as
Cool.
well.
Nice.
So, I mean, it's great to see. What I loved about Pentatonics getting out there is like they made a mainstream. I mean, they've
So
made
awesome.
like
Yeah.
very commercial, very valuable
Yeah.
a cappella commodity. I mean,
So-
it's so great.
It is so
The
great.
other day I was driving down Sunset Boulevard and I look over and this dude's just rocking out the Pentatonics, just like,
Yes!
you know, it's impacting the world. He's like,
I know, it's not Nirvana anymore.
Little Kevin Groove.
yeah, it's-
So cool.
So after that, I mean, you weren't married then, were you?
No.
You were
Oh,
engaged?
see, sing off. Gosh, years. I don't remember the years.
I think it was
Actually,
2013.
oh, yeah. I got married in 2010.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
you were married then.
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, and he would just kind of come in and out and sneak in and just, you know, we were just like, it was early years of marriage. We were just like floating and just having fun. And
Isn't that great, those
yes,
years?
Yes. No real jobs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did the sing off.
I remember those awesome years,
Oh,
first
yeah.
few years of being married.
Good stuff. So yeah, and you know, and a lot, but honestly, like the deep undertow of all these really fun things that I got to do was like, I know that there are songs boiling up in me, and there are things really pulling at my heart that I that are important to me, and the only way I always knew how to, you know, share that and communicate that was through music. So there was stuff bubbling up this entire time,
Do you feel that now that you're writing, it's a different kind of inspiration than back then? Was there more pressure when you were writing during those years? Because now it's just,
Doing it
this
for
is who
yourself.
I am. It's for you.
Oh, totally. Yes, there was a pressure to deliver, to like to say certain things and lean certain directions, be positive and be, you know.
So do you feel like sometimes having to write positive all the time gets in the way of actually just writing honestly?
Yeah, I mean, for me at least, like, I think some people are just so good
Has there
at writing
ever
really
been-
happy songs.
Yeah.
I'm not that good at that.
Mike Posner. Have you ever... I mean, that's the happiest guy on the planet.
So awesome.
Has there ever been an artist do well on the Christian charts that wrote a dark, not happy song?
Probably now, these days.
I wouldn't know.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, back then, I don't know. Probably not really. It's definitely not the tone of, like...
Hey, we have a guest calling in.
Oh, uh-oh. Stevie Wonder.
Brett Bourgeois.
You're a funny guy.
Brent!
Who's that?
Just an old, small, brown friend of yours.
Rachel.
Yeah.
he knows it was you because I saw him on Facebook. I was watching. How are you, Brent?
I'm very well, thank you.
I just thought it'd be fun to have Brent say hi.
Oh my gosh. What are you doing right now? What are you doing right now?
Right now.
Yes.
Well, I am working on my Spanish, believe it or not.
Ooh. Yeah.
He's getting into the Latin market.
Yeah, you are.
Is it through an app on your phone?
Hey, how about Brent answer this question?
Okay.
I don't know if you heard the question I asked right before you called. Has there ever been a song do well on the Christian charts that was dark and not happy and not positive?
He's laughing.
Well, okay. My own song called "Blessed Be the Name," which was about Job,
Oh.
and it was the whole Job thing, and it did well.
Oh.
I mean, so but that is definitely the exception.
But did it have some hope in the song somewhere?
Did the bridge have a key change? And was it
Yeah.
It was directly out of Job.
Yeah.
So it was all the root words, Job, you know, and it even had the words naked in it.
Oh, whoa. You didn't get kicked out?
Taboo.
See? And then, well, you can see that I'm in the position I am today in the Christian market, you see.
Yeah, you're working for Facebook now, not any Christian. See what happens when you do Job? There was a band I worked with in the 90s. I'm trying to recall their name. They were sort of Aerosmith in the Christian market.
Of course, it was everybody something like the Aerosmith of the Christian market or the U2 of the Christian
Well, and that's
Yeah.
true.
The Green Day.
But they were doing really well. I'm from the Bay Area. It was called The Something. It's going to come back to me. But they were out on tour, and they were selling out, doing really well. And mainstream radio picked up their songs, and literally that ended the tour.
Oh.
Like, before the tour ended, people just
I've heard of
stopped
that
coming
happen.
to
Oh,
their
that's
shows because it went mainstream.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, well, a lot of people felt betrayed by that kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
you're not a real, you know, you're turning your back. on
Right. I do.
church.
It wasn't their fault, though. They had nothing to do
course
with
not.
it.
Like when that Rachel Lampa girl went on the Tonight Show.
Gosh, how dare she?
How fun must that have
How
been?
dare she shake
How
hands
old-
with
Terrible
Jay
idea.
Leno?
16-year-old.
think she had a tank top on.
Really?
So to hell.
Yeah, basically. Luckily, do you think Brent that it's well, I think it is better. Do you think it's better now? I mean, obviously people can choose more what they can listen to, but I feel like there's a lot more range out there for people who are trying to listen to music from a Christian perspective.
Well, I honestly, to be completely honest with you, I don't follow it that much.
Yeah.
But I do feel like, if anything, and this is, in my opinion, kind of a good thing, that the era of trying to be something that they weren't is over. Like it was finished around that time that the whole music industry kind of went in the toilet around 2003 or 4 or something like that. That Christian music went kind of back to where it was supposed to be, which is Christian music for Christian people, for the church. Like instead of
like
trying
worship.
The worship, the whole worship thing became huge. And and to me, that's kind of where Christian music belongs, because if you want to make music for the masses, for the mainstream, then go do it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't try to do it in the Christian market, because you're trying to do two things, neither of which are going to be, you're going to probably not be successful either, because you're trying to thread a needle that's very hard to thread, as you know.
Yeah,
how hard,
definitely.
So how hard is it
Definitely.
once you make it in the Christian world, and maybe Katy Perry didn't quite make it in the Christian world?
She didn't.
And so, for somebody like you who's done a lot of success in it, to go mainstream.
Switchfoot did.
Switchfoot.
Those are good friends of mine. And
Sixpence.
Yeah. It's probably, the guy.
You have to leave it behind. You can't try to keep a foot in it. You have to leave it. You have to say, I'm going, and that's because in order to put the energy into the mainstream market, you're going to offend people in the Christian world, because they're gonna, and I think Sixpence is a good example. I mean, they went for it, and they never really came back. I mean,
but they did well in the mainstream market, relatively well. So.
Yes, and Switchfoot has too. And Switchfoot, I guess, still has somewhat of a reputation in the Christian world, but not really. I mean,
Mercy Me, are they kind of like a little both?
Mercy Me.
Are they kind of a little both?
I think their song got big in the mainstream, but they're.
So is it easier to start out as a mainstream with spiritual,
it's hard,
and then put one foot in Christian later?
Honestly,
I mean, you too have very spiritual lyrics.
No, Christian
they
guys.
never call themselves a Christian band.
No.
They were an Irish nationalist band.
Well, that's true, actually.
I mean, truthfully though, like for me, I could care less. I seriously don't care. Like I about what people want to call me, what genre I would get
Christian
in,
or
because
mainstream or...
I know there are people there are like-minded people like me that live lives as a Christian person, but also really love and accept their gay friends and their friends that aren't Christians and that aren't people that live outside of the generalized
I read
Christian
an article
norm.
yesterday how country music and Christian music are becoming liberal, and it's going to hell in a handbasket. Literally yesterday.
A little more liberal.
I just don't care.
I think there's a new generation of evangelicals. Well, first of all, when you're talking about Christian music, you're talking about evangelicals, because they've, as Rachel also knows, that there's this whole other side of Christianity that isn't even part of that business. I mean, it's the Presbyterians and it's
that are Christians but not evangelical Christian, and your song really did well amongst the evangelical world, right? To me,
that is the Christian. When you're talking about CCM music, you're talking about evangelicals, and so there's a whole younger generation of people, if they still even call themselves that are breaking with their parents, especially now that with who we have as president.
All right, we're not going down that road.
We're already teetering with the religion thing.
No.
Politics. All right.
We'll talk religion and music, but this is a no-win conversation.
I'm just saying that there is a great divide, and the young people are being much more accepting of LGBTQ, and they're that's a big divide. And
I think it's more about people though in general, like about how I think you're right. I think that there's this group of people thinks this way about this group of people and all that kind of stuff. But I think ultimately it's person to person. Everybody is a person. We just we listen to the music of the people that we align with and connect with, and we just keep doing our best.
For example, like with our band, and not to bring it back to me,
so
we have
Brent, I know you saw us on Facebook. Bryce is here from Lifehouse.
So this is him talking right now.
We have a song called Everything that is a very interpretive lyrical song, but there was a skit that was performed in churches that walked through, it was a really powerful skit that went through churches for a while using the song. Mm-hmm. And when we play shows, we see some people that it affects in a certain way, and some, the Christian market has been a part of our band. It hasn't been the full focal point of our band. I think to a lot of artists that started, especially back in our day, like came to a point where it's like, okay, which way am I going to go to start my career? Am I going to go with the Christian path or the mainstream path? And I don't know if the time is different now, but to us, it's been kind of like you said. You want people to just enjoy the music, take it for what it is instead of putting a label on it.
Yeah, totally. Take it where they...
But I've also seen the evolution, even in the evangelical world, where the way someone looks is evolved.
Yeah.
You've got tats and piercings and all that, and that's an evolution in acceptance. Mm-hmm. So because that was not the way it was in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
Well,
yes. Well, that too.
Yeah. All right, Brent, we're going to get back to torturing Rachel here. Thanks for calling in, though. It was good to chat with you.
Well, what's really interesting, Mr. Stroud, is that it was almost uncanny because I was about to call you because I have something that I wanted to talk to you about, but obviously you're otherwise preoccupied.
He's busy.
But,
well, is there a lot of money involved for me? We can just blow off this interview and,
well, actually, and what's really funny about it is Rachel is part of the conversation because, and she's never far from this conversation. My daughter, Rachel, I don't know that you know this, but my youngest daughter is a
musical theater,
budding musical theater star.
Oh.
She's a triple threat. She's really, really good. She's she's just turned 20, and she's a great dancer.
Aww.
She's a very good singer, but I think she's hit this wall, this ceiling with her range that I don't think it's gotten one note better in 3 years, and this is a conversation I'll have with you later.
That's Dave. Dave's right here.
Dave will take it through the roof.
I mean, all right, that's a whole rabbit hole we can go down that I don't want to at this moment, but I'll call you back.
It's like MC.
But I'll call you. Yeah, I'll call you, Brent, and it'll be a good conversation, and we'll bring Rachel in as a vocal consultant.
Nice meeting you, Brent.
Yeah, you too. It's good to hear your voice, Rachel.
Yes, bud.
Dave, we'll talk soon.
Yeah, I'll call you. Thanks, Brent.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. That was fun.
Nice.
Yeah, nice guy.
All right, so let's go back around, though.
Okay.
Because I want to get back to sort of where you're at with your voice.
Yeah, yes.
And actually, from the point that Blessed launched to this point now, every voice goes through cycles. Mm-hmm. We all do, okay? And you being look, whether you feel comfortable about this or not, you're an icon. You're an icon in the Christian music world, not just because that song was so big and all the other songs from that album and subsequent albums, but your voice is one that sets a standard. You know that.
So weird.
I know, but it's true.
Okay.
So going from having that song, which is an iconic song, and I want you to play that little snippet of the song you played from the other day.
Oh, okay.
The one where you showed me where you went back up.
Yeah,
you said, this is good, right? Will you play that?
Yeah, I can find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But every voice goes through changes, right? Mm-hmm. We go through changes because hormones change, life changes, stress.
Yeah.
Our agenda changes, our inspiration, our motivation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We get older.
It definitely. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I definitely feel like I just was like I was singing a lot just throughout that time, singing a lot of backgrounds. I toured with Hosier for a couple of years as a background singer, and I actually got walking pneumonia on that tour for 3 months, and was just coughing and just like confused about what was going on. And I grew up with asthma and allergies, and it kind of reignited all my asthma stuff. So there's a little challenge in there for me. I was like, what's, this isn't that healthy voice that I used to know.
Always have.
Yeah, and so it's like, but I almost like take those as like battle scars, and that they add something to the story, whether it's like a little extra grit, a little extra texture or whatever. But like even just working with you the other day, it was just like you remember those muscular things that happen as a singer that just click in when they do, and sometimes you either get out of practice or you have a baby.
Well, hormones make a huge difference. I mean, your voice is such a hormone-driven instrument.
Yes, it's crazy. So I had a baby 2 years ago, and for sure, like, have felt different,
vocally.
different vocally. But I think it's all. Again, like, luckily, I'm so thankful to grow up, because I do feel like my goal isn't so much anymore to be perfect and on the dot. It's to be vulnerable and to connect and to communicate.
Which is why I think Blessed worked in the first place. I mean, the connection that I hear when I hear you sing that song, and I know you're 16, 15, 14, whatever. And one of the issues I have with singers is the ones that can really sing is they stop connecting to the music because they're so busy showing off and the runs and everything, instead of like. So when I work with a singer, I'll take away the top part of their range and I'll take away any riff, and I want you to sing that song, but you can't go above for a female like a C.
You can't shred over that.
You cannot go higher than that, and you can't riff.
Yeah.
Now sing this for me.
Right.
And they're singing big and full, and like, okay, volume 50%.
Yeah.
Like, show me what the meaning of the words are before you show me all these athletic things that you can do.
Totally.
And that, again, that's why when I hear Blessed, I think that's why it connected. But okay, so here I'm on my soapbox for a second. Sorry. You guys can either beat me down from saying this or whatever.
It's all good.
My problem with Christian music is that somebody's handing you words, and as long as key words are sung and the same chord progression, again, you do a key change in the bridge, and okay, good, that's good enough. Instead of like, who cares about that? Yeah. What do you want to say? Yeah. Right?
Yeah, totally. And I think I don't follow it as closely as I used to, but I do I know artists, and I have friends who are artists that are making really legitimately heartfelt, genuine songs in the Christian field, or whatever you would call that. But so I don't think it used to be. I don't think it used to be, or I don't think it is what it used to be. I think, and also, it's like whatever radio wants to play it might end up sounding like that's all that Christian music is. But there is some really amazing, beautiful stuff under all that. Yes, for sure. It's just,
well, being human means we don't have hope sometimes.
Yeah.
You wake up, and all you want to do is bury your head and not get out of bed, and you don't feel hope. Yeah. Right? Yeah. All of us. It's human.
Segue to my new single that I just released.
All right.
No hope.
Because there actually isn't. It's kind of I was really nervous about putting this song out because it's not the most obvious song that you would be like, "Oh, this is the song I'm coming back with." Right. But it's the only song I could have released first, because it basically just talks about wanting the whole world, wanting all that God has given you, and believing that like dreams and hopes and all that, like, you can have those things and you can have exciting things, but you can also but there's also a piece of you that just wants to curl up and be, and in the song I say it just wants to go home, but for me that's like, it's me wanting to be the little girl again, right, and wanting like just like the no expectations.
All the things that you had when you were 14.
Yeah, exactly.
Your parents were together, your family was together, and you had these big dreams.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
And that's the way the song ends. There's no, but that's,
So awesome.
That's just, but it's like what you're saying. It's just like that, that's the real stuff, the human stuff that, that I do better with anyway, as far as like having to sing it every night. It's like,
it's more connected.
Feels real to me.
It's not an albatross around your neck.
So, and honestly, like the people that still listen to my music, so far at least, the response is, it's not like, well, this isn't Christian enough, or this is too Christian, or this is what, because I always had that kind of pull back and forth. It's just, I think people are way more okay these days with just being you.
Okay, so this is weird, but that band I worked with called The Brave, it popped in my head.
Oh.
Something you said it popped up in my head. Anyway, mid-90s. Anyway,
okay.
Sorry.
Okay, got it. No, you're good. I mean, so, all that to say, yes, there is, I think there's cookie cutter everything, again, in every genre of music, but I think it's possible to make music about your faith that is, that really represents real life and real struggles. And
honest.
Yeah, honesty. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So that's out. You're on a new trajectory.
Yes.
It's awesome.
What's the name of the single?
Side of My Heart.
Side of My Heart?
Mm-hmm.
And you have a full album coming out, or EP?
Yeah, it's an EP.
It's an EP, 5?
Yeah, 5 or 6. I'm kind of adding to it, so maybe it'll be an album
Full
by the
album
end.
by the time it happens.
By the end of this whole thing, but yes.
Okay, and they can go to RachelLampa.com to find it?
Yeah.
And we will post a link as well, but, just to anybody listening. Okay, so now that you're at the place you are in life, think about those thousands of young singers out there. What's your biggest... If there's one thing you could tell 14-year-old Rachel, what would you tell her?
Good question.
I know. There's a lot. There's not just one.
Go
actually, it's sort of something that you said earlier. I really connected with, because it's kind of something I've been trying to articulate. But you were saying you're writing a lot of songs for the trash.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that's interpreted, but to throw in the trash is what you were meaning, right? Like
Literally,
you were saying, like
you put out 10 ideas and you
trash,
gotta
half
keep 8
one.
of them.
Yes,
probably
exactly.
go in the trash.
I would say for singers and writers and dreamers, whatever, like whatever you're doing that you're passionate about, like be okay with making something that will suck and will need to go in the trash.
Yeah.
Because you're making it. You're creating something out of thin air. You're following your heart. You're being really freaking brave. And just by sharing it. So and whether that's on YouTube or Instagram or in front of your mom's friends at home, like, don't be afraid to create, to start creating and continue to create, because some will not be as good as the rest, and some will be great. But if you just fearfully, sit back, like I totally did that in my break. I was like, no, not yet. And I'm so glad that that I finally tricked myself into doing it again. But yeah.
And the younger generation has so much at their fingertips with social media, with all the tools and the
problem with that, though, is there's so much noise.
There is.
How do you get through that?
You just find the people that you connect with, and the guides and your role models and your inspiration, and you follow the footsteps of what they did.
Yeah,
and what they're
align
telling
yourself
you
with that. Yeah, totally. Because it's so important that people still create. Like, even if everybody in the world was just creating at each other, that would be more beautiful than if people were like, oh, I just don't know if I should, I don't know if I have a great voice, but maybe it's a really cool voice, and we're tired of great voices,
Well, look, I mean, you listen to the voices that you're attracted to have flaws.
Yes.
And we're drawn to flaws.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it makes us feel connected. Like, somebody who is polished and perfect, like, I have I don't know what to relate to them.
Yeah, or I don't even need to know their name, because it's just, I could, just bounce around and find the same thing.
There's tons of stuff, especially with the technology. You can polish anything up.
Some of the best singers I know are the ones, and you said this in one of your former podcasts, are like the ones that sing background vocals for other artists, because they're not finding their own voice through either playing a character through their voice, or they're just like so good. Yeah. It's hard to find the art in that. It's just like the mathematical, like science behind the music and not the art.
Yeah.
Totally. And it's not what it's about. I mean, I love doing what I do as a voice coach, and I'm trying to polish people's voices as much as possible. But in the end, that is the background noise. It doesn't matter. I mean, it matters when you're on the road and you feel like you can't finish the tour.
Yes.
And it matters when you studio and you hear notes you want to get to.
Yep.
But in the end, it doesn't matter because your audience doesn't care.
Yeah.
They don't. You could sing, you could crack on a note, you could whatever, and it's not like they're going to go, oh, I'm not going to listen to her again.
Yeah.
That's not at all. If that message, if your message is heartfelt and there's texture in your voice and you're only singing a small range, but it connects.
It's believable. They believe
It's believable.
Yeah.
Louis Armstrong, to me, is a perfect example. Every voice coach on this planet would go, well, we're going to have to start over. This is a mess. And I just,
Yeah.
But I bet you there's not a single person on this planet that wouldn't hear his voice once and identify it from that point forward instantly.
Like, wow.
And that's all that matters. I mean,
Yeah.
all that matters is that when you open your mouth to sing, everybody goes, I know that girl, I like that girl, I recognize her voice, and I love her message.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's cool.
The rest is just background noise. I mean, it's just, in the minute technique becomes more important than that.
Yeah,
Go
it's
home.
like you need to give like music in general, not you, but just we all do, like the power that it actually has. Because you know, like you told me that you never listened to Christian music, but you connected to Blessed.
Mm-hmm.
My like lifelong sweet friend Sandy Friedman. I'm gonna make you listen to this, but he was my PR guy, and he was just like wanted nothing to do with Christian music or Christianity or any of that, but was like, I just pulled over on the side of the road and just started bawling my eyes out to Blessed and Live for You. And I'm like, to me, I'm like, ha, God's talking to you. But for some people, it's just a powerful experience, and that's what music is. And you know, and so we have to sit back and let music just do what it actually does, and not try to get in the way of all that. Yeah, with perfection.
So did we answer the question to the 14-year-old Rachel?
Oh gosh, yeah, I think
Okay.
Don't.
So
Yeah.
on top of that, one thing you wish you would have done different with your career, one thing that you know you made a mistake, and even if it didn't change the trajectory of your career, was there ever a moment you look back and go, I should not have done that. I should have,
Or I should have done that.
I should have done that.
I mean, besides taking more voice lessons from Dave Stroud.
Same.
No, like, come on. I mean, you guys don't
That's
need
actually
it.
true for me.
Me too. It
And
definitely is
I'm
true.
just
It
going to
definitely
say it's just not true.
It is true. It is true. I should have taken more care of my vocals, for sure. I definitely was.
You're going to play a snippet of your next song, and I think everybody's going to go, you're fine.
Yeah, I am fine. I am okay. But, oh man, I don't know. I don't like. It's not
Was
like
there
I
a
carry
business choice?
regrets.
I don't mean regrets,
Yeah.
but if you could do it again. I mean, I can think, oh my God. Do you want to see my list?
Yes, give me one. Maybe it'll inspire me.
If I could do it again,
I don't think I dare say. I have a list
love
of
to hear
things I
this.
would do differently.
You know-
just name 2. Just 2 for fun,
I learned this lesson
or 1.
later in life. Way later.
Okay.
So I'm 50, almost 54 now.
Okay.
Okay.
And I surrounded myself with people who I didn't like for way too long.
Was that because of the business side of things, or you wanted
Business in
connections?
general.
Or?
Business in general. So you think that this guy over here with this massive character flaw, that if it wasn't for the fact that, you know, you guys are both pursuing things that align, there's some synergy in what you're pursuing, you wouldn't spend a moment around that kind of person.
Right.
And I have, during my 30s, I had way too much of that. And I look back now and I go, that I wouldn't give you the air in my room.
Yeah.
And I spent way too much time around these people, and I gave them way too much credibility, and I boosted them up way more than I should have.
Yeah.
And their behavior reflects on me at this point.
That's amazing. Every person I've met through you is like a high frequency, like good person. It's and you can see that you've
But
probably
I don't
gone
only think
through that
that's
process.
happened over the last 10 years. I think prior to that, you would have had to filter. And there's some good people. I'm not saying there wasn't, because some of my lifelong people in this business that I love are still in it, and I love them. But I spent way too much time allowing people who didn't deserve, who didn't live on the level that I want to be surrounded by too much.
Yeah.
So that's a huge
that's
one.
a good
for me.
one.
Really good.
That's a good
Do you
one.
have one?
Me? Honestly, I mean, I grew up like wanting the rock star life and like party and touring and craziness. And I feel like for my early 20s, I spent many years kind of engulfed in that, which was a kind of fuel and did get me to a certain place. But I feel like now I'm at a point where music isn't so much about me, or it's about other people. I'm a performer. I like getting in front of an audience. I like to entertain. I like to have people come to a show and leave better than they came in.
Yeah.
So it's about other people. Music, creating music and everything is about me to a certain degree, but the gift that comes from it, it took me a while to see that. It was before it was all about, no, this is for me, and, blah, 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 and this is my thing. And I've grown exponentially since I've tried to exercise that principle, and that, you know, came from time. But if I could do it a little differently, I would say like kind of pursued a more artistic path with a little more discipline in my 20s, early 30s, late 20s.
Yeah.
Early
I wish
30s.
I would have learned to practice better, for sure.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah.
I wish I would have been a better practicer.
Yeah. That's good.
That's just discipline, and that's the thing. It's like comes to a moment where like, should I practice right now or do this cool thing? And you know, sometimes it's the people that exercise. It's a habit. You can form a habit if you want to practice. It just takes a minute to establish and reinforce that.
Absolutely.
I played bass in a jazz band in high school.
Nice.
And there was this visiting band that was coming, and I was supposed to play bass, and I learned half the song, and I figured it's the same second half.
Dude, you know how
As a
many
bass
times
player?
I've done that so many times.
Wait a second. I didn't learn that. It was a nightmare.
Fake it till you make it.
That's funny.
I couldn't even fake it. At that point,
I like
boom,
that.
boom, people going, what the hell is
Oh
going
my
on up
gosh,
there? It was a
that's
nightmare.
funny.
I was just dumb enough to finish it and
Roots and fifths.
Scoot out the back.
anyway, all right.
That's funny.
Now, come on, let's turn the spotlight on you.
Yes.
It's okay. I mean, for me, it actually might have been a little bit the opposite. I think maybe I would have taken like a couple more vacations and a couple more breaks, because I think the reason why that I there's a lot of blank spots and a lot of like very blurry memories is because I just rushed through it all, and I took very little time to just stop and like recount and appreciate and like just enjoy, take it in. It's like it's easy to look back and be like, wow, I lived this really crazy, exciting, cool life, and I'm really grateful for it, but I don't have these bulky memories of them. And so I guess and again, like I don't think I'm like a victim of all that. I just think that especially these days, probably a lot of people rush through life, you know, and I was
So
doing
easy
that.
to get caught up in that, though.
Yeah, I know.
It's so easy to get caught up.
But I think I do remember people telling, like, especially like people that were older than me, like, just, you know,
Breathe out.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, whatever. I think people were trying to give me clues, and I wasn't
You
listening.
also probably didn't have much of a choice then, too. My entire 20s were spent touring consistently,
man,
and
you guys
it
were
all
crazy.
went into one. But for you, like, there's pressures and things where it was
Yeah.
tough in that situation to be like, hey guys, I'm gonna peace out for a bit, take
Yeah.
our time, and so
Yeah.
in that way, it's like what was meant to happen was meant to happen.
It is,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
in the end, it is true. But I mean, imagine for you being 16 and the first time you were being flown in a private jet somewhere and all this luxury and all this stuff going on. It's so easy to get pulled into that and forget about.
Yeah.
So easy
Just
to
forget about, like, sanity and, like, feet on the ground and,
Unwinding.
like, groundedness and, like,
go fishing.
Yeah. I love fishing.
Me too.
I love fishing.
I mean,
Let's go.
I'm going Thursday. You're welcome to come meet me up there.
Man, that's fun.
All right, so let's kind of wrap this up. But I played a little section in your song.
I called. Okay, I'll just say that I texted Dave out of the blue. It'd probably been a year or months maybe since I had
It's probably
reached out,
yeah.
and I just texted him. I was like, okay, that's thing that you've been teaching me for years. I've kind of just been like saying that I understood, but I didn't totally like click into it. And then I was in the studio and I just like was like, I think that's the thing that Dave has been talking about this entire time. So I don't know. It's just this is a bridge, and for singers out there and singer geeks and stuff, like, you know, when you want to sing the bridge in full voice and the producers really want you to do it either in your falsetto or whatever, I was like, they wanted the falsetto, and even my husband Brendan was like, oh, I think it's nice in the falsetto. I was like, no, I think this is how I want to sing it.
Good for you.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
I didn't do that a lot. Okay, let's see. I don't know where it's at.
This is what happens when you take control of your career completely.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome. Okay, this is the bridge. This is... Yeah, that's it.
I got a little bit of the Chili Willies.
Chills?
Wow.
So
That's
good.
full on. Wow, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
You're fine.
Thank you.
Just fine.
I know.
I mean, it's good. You keep you know, as you get older, you just got to keep working your voice, keep it pliable, keep
Yes.
the transition from low to high and all that sort of stuff. But
Yep.
I mean, you're so gifted. I mean, not to take away from all the hard work, because it is hard work to keep your voice sounding like that. But man, that is,
Thank you.
yeah, you're blessed.
You would.
That's, yeah.
Of course I would. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Any last thoughts? I mean, I love having you here, and I appreciate so much your honesty and your
What you got?
Plug
transparency.
that single one
Yeah.
more time.
Oh,
Come
you're-
on, you got to do
You're such a
it.
good artist. You're such a good
How
artist.
do we plug it?
Side of My Heart is the name of the single. You can just social media that crap, and it
Everybody
will come
here,
up.
go get it and repost it. Yes, please.
Yes, do
That'd be
that.
awesome.
That would
Well,
be nice.
thank you. I can't wait to see this next
Yes.
level and chapter and what happens. It's so great that you're married and
Yeah.
you're happy and you've got a child and your career's still there and you're doing all those things. I just, it's awesome. And it's great for me to sit back on the sidelines and watch you. I just keep watching your career and all the great things that's happening, and it's just, it's
you.
awesome.
Thank you so much. Well, thanks
yeah.
for being part of it.
Well, it's certainly my honor. And also, thank you, Bryce, for
I
being
know,
here.
I'm starstruck.
Yay, me.
Been
Yeah,
starstruck this whole
you
time, Bryce.
And, thanks to Blue Microphones, Ultimate Ears, our sponsors. Without them, I mean, they've just been amazing with all these
Nice.
microphones.
They're beautiful.
And thank you to Mr. Dave Stroud for this beautiful podcast.
Saturday morning. Well,
Sing talk,
come in
vocalize
and
you.
instead of surfing or playing volleyball, you're here.
Hey, yeah, got me out of bed.
Got you out of bed on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk to you at our next episode.